Greetings, everyone. This is Time Rider, and thanks for watching this edition of The Bench. I'm hoping to change the way I do The Bench, and while I never did a video on this Ranchero casting, you can watch and I'll talk. Lately, there's been a great deal of concern about the changes in COPPA compliance on YouTube. There have been reactionary changes in YouTube policy driven by a court ruling in a case initiated by the FTC. For those of you who maybe don't understand wonderfully American acronyms, the FTC is the Federal Trade Commission. In a nutshell, they provide oversight for American commerce in an effort to ensure fair trade. Another acronym, the FCC, or Federal Communications Commission, is the oversight group that ensures that the communications vehicles, which are generally considered as public domain, are being used fairly and appropriately. Most, if not all, communications of any type in the United States is regulated directly through FCC license. Each entity must enforce and adhere to about 1 million laws. The main issue, as I understand it, seems to be one of data practices by YouTube and Google, and channels which are directed specifically at children. That's what COPPA is. It's protection for children. Google wound up paying huge because they violated COPPA laws. Actually, I don't think they violated any law until a court decided that their practices were illegal. Up to that point, they may have been underhanded, they certainly lied, but some would probably call it business ingenuity supported by a dose of creativity and a wisp of puffing. You have to love capitalism. But the court disagreed and they got fined. So what does it all mean? Well, first of all, you have to remember the court case was more about privacy and less about content. Look, I'm not a lawyer, but it would be tough to think the motive of the U.S. government is to thwart millions of people whose hobby might be attractive to all age groups and whose audience would barely make up a neighborhood. In spite of the scare mail spam telling you that you're subject to grossly large fines and other horrible consequences for violating COPPA, that's probably a pretty uninformed view and even a little bit naive when you think about it. Look, set your preferences as YouTube suggests. Just because a child may view your video doesn't mean it was directed at them or you are involved in nefarious things. If you're in doubt about a particular video you did, change the settings for the video. Here's the thing, if you mark your video as made for children, then YouTube is going to change the way they mine analytic information and they probably shut your comments off. That's, my friend, is what this is all about. It's YouTube, hence Google, protecting itself from future litigation. So just do what they ask you to do. We're not selling toys for profit. We're explaining the processes used to restore antiques. Sometimes we sell them, but certainly not for great profit, at least none of mine. Don't worry about the perfect storm. I do not believe the FTC is looking for you or me. There's some excellent videos. I'll have a link for the YouTube explanation below. But if you're like me and you want to know more, you're probably going to read. And if you read, the CNBC article is pretty good, and it may help you better understand the issue. So take the time. Trust me, it's worth it. So look, we got a pretty good community. Nobody's exploiting anybody, kids or anybody else. And I don't think anybody's twirling their mustache. Maybe Austin. Austin up in Canada, he might twirl a mustache. Not 100% sure. Has anybody actually seen Austin? Does he have a mustache? Anyway, let me talk about this Ranchero and why I never really did anything beyond where I went with it. One, I absolutely hate the front of this thing. It looks so bad between the gaps and the way that grill sticks out. And so I wasn't very inspired by the casting. It was a very cheap casting. It had a lot of pits, and it took a long time to get it to this point, and I would have really had to go after it to make anything useful out of it. And then you can see there's a little chip of paint. About the only thing I can say for it is I painted it Spectraflame Lime when the last coat I did in gold, and I think that looks pretty good. But the long and the short of it is, I'm not going to worry about COPPA. I'm just going to try to do the right thing. And this is Time Rider, and I hope everybody has a great day.